What's going on, my fellow degenerates? Passion here once again, and welcome back to the relaunch of my channel. I'm super stoked to be doing Overwatch content for you guys again. So I was thinking to myself, right, what would be the best way to relaunch my channel with Overwatch content? I mean, isn't it obvious? It's ranking every single hero's ass, of course, on a tier list. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. I went in, now I'm going to give a little bit of a prerequisite before we get into this. So, some ground rules. First off, I didn't want to go off of what is available in fan art. I didn't want to, like, go by certain exaggerated, artist renditions of what the characters actually looked like, what their ass actually looked like. So I pulled all of these screenshots from in-game, and we're going to be going by how they look in-game. And also, another thing you may notice, these are not all the default skins, because for some heroes, their default skin covers up their ass. You can't really get a good look at it. And I wanted to make sure every character was putting their best foot forward, or in this case, best cheeks forward. I went through what I had available for skins and victory poses and emotes, and tried to make sure that I got every character's best angle that I could. It wasn't always successful. We'll come up to that when we get to it, but I tried my best to give every character a fair shot in this competition. So the tiers that we have available to rank today are how would I even, down at the bottom. So basically, if I'm picturing this character like flirting with me and presenting their ass to me, this is kind of like what I'm thinking, right? So in this case, it'd be, how would I even? Like, what is there for me to actually interact with? You do not have an ass. So that's the bottom tier. Moving on up, at least they got personality. Like, okay, maybe they have an ass, but it's like, that's not their best feature at all. And yeah, they definitely have better characteristics than their ass. Then moving up from there, we have, yep, that's a butt. So this is just, okay, you got an average badonkadonk here. It's the middle of the road, kind of like, it's not god awful, but it's nothing to write home about either. You're not gonna be like writing your mom on the battlefield like, mother, it is January 13th, 2054, and I just saw the most amazing ass in my life. Like, no, you're not gonna do that. So, yep, that's a butt. Moving on up from there, it's worth a squeeze, right? Now we're getting into some nice shit. Like, okay, yeah, you make me wanna. So that's gonna be worth a squeeze. Moving on up, and then obviously up top is worship that ass. That is a fantastic ass. Makes me want to just like, you know. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, I'm gonna pull up my handy dandy cheat sheet here because, believe it or not, it's hard to tell all these characters right from their ass. You know, like you'd think that me being the degenerate that I am, that I would know that already, but I don't. So, we're gonna pull up our cheat sheet. Getting started, I believe this is Brigitte. Yes, this is Brigitte. I think I'm gonna put Brigitte in worth a squeeze. Like, that's pretty nice. That's definitely pretty nice. Not top tier, but certainly up there. But speaking of top tier, we got Diva. That is a top tier ass if I've ever seen one. definitely worship that ass. Moving on, we have Kiriko. Now, Kiriko is one of the reasons that I got back into playing Overwatch 2. I know that I wasn't actually playing when Kiriko got released, mainly because she was locked behind the battle pass, and I had a whole lot of misconceptions about Overwatch 2. Like, I might do another video about like why it took me so long to come back to Overwatch 2, like some of my like past experiences with the game and stuff. But seeing Kiriko and like getting a better idea of Kiriko, like I kind of made me want to come back to the game, and Kiriko is quickly becoming another Overwatch waifu of mine. That being said, though, I expected her ass to be better than it is. I think I'm gonna put that at worth a squeeze. Right below Brig, though. I think Brig is a little bit better. In terms of a nice ass. Moving on, we have Lifeweaver. See, I'm not just doing the females. I'm an equal opportunity generate here. So we got Lifeweaver. To me, like, and this is the best shot I could get of Lifeweaver. To me, that's not really all that special. But it's not terrible. Yep, that's a butt. That's all I'm gonna say on Lifeweaver is yep, that's a butt. Zenyatta. This is Zenyatta. Coming up next. And you would think that being an Omnic that automatically disqualifies them and puts them down at the bottom of the tier list. As you're soon gonna find out, that is incorrect. Like I said, I'm an equal opportunity degenerate. So I think I am gonna put Zen. See, this is tough because they clearly have an ass. But honestly, I'm looking at it now and it's like, eh. If Zen presented their ass to me, I don't think I'd be all that impressed. At least they got personality, right? They and to be honest, Zen doesn't need to present their ass to me. They are doing perfectly fine, meditating in a shrine somewhere. They don't need to be presenting me with their ass to have a fulfilling life. So that, you know, props to Zen. Moving on to Soldier 76. That is a very rectangular looking ass, but at least it's an ass, you know. Like it's formed, at least. It's full formed. I'm gonna say that that's a little bit below Lifeweaver, and yep, that's a butt. Now we got Ash. That is very nice. That's very nice. You know what? I'm gonna put that up right below Diva. In a worship that ass. Yes. That is very nice. Loving that. I believe this is Ana. Yes, this is Ana. And this is sadly literally the best shot I could get of Ana. Now, one might make the argument that in her young Amari skin, either like the sniper skin or the Captain Amari skin, or you know, one of the ones that makes her literally not a grandma, that she would probably have a pretty good ass. But you get in game and you still can't see anything. So going by my rules of it has to be how it's presented in game, at least they got personality. Like, yeah, I know there's an ass in there, and maybe it's good, but one, I'm not a gilf lover, and two, I can't see it. I can't see it. I don't know how good it is. It could be flat, it could be nice and plump and juicy, hell if I know. So at least they got personality. Moving on, we got Baptiste. You know, I'll be honest, Baptiste is looking real nice. Baptiste is looking real nice. I'm gonna put that right below Kiri. And worth a squeeze. I would squeeze Baptiste's ass. Absolutely. 100%. Moving on, we got Bastion. This is gonna be the first how would I even, because there's nothing there. There's no cheeks, there's no rounded surface, it's literally just a triangle. And I'm pretty sure a port for him to dispense waste out of. That is it. Like, there's nothing there for me to enjoy. So how would I even? Moving on, we got Cassidy. Now, that is a pretty good ass. Pretty good ass on Cass, if I do say so myself. So, where do I want to put it, though? Do I want to squeeze it? Do I want to squeeze Cass's ass? I don't think I do. It's not necessarily because the ass itself is bad, but more the person attached to the rest of the ass is not, like, I don't want to be looking in Cass's eyes while I squeeze his ass. So no, that's just a butt. Very nice butt. I'm gonna put it up at the top of yep, that's a butt. But that's just a butt. Moving on, we got, I believe that's Doomfist. Yes, that is Doomfist. And my god, I see now why he overcompensates with this gigantic robot arm and his big pecs and everything. It's because he's insecure that he's got the tiniest, flattest ass. At least in contention for the tiniest, flattest ass in all of the game. So, to be honest, I'm gonna put him. Do I want to put him above or below Ana? You know what? Because at least I know that Ana probably has something, I'm gonna put him below Ana, and at least they got personality. Moving on, we got Echo. Now, similar to Bastion, there's really not a lot there, right? However, Echo has the curves. I mean, there's no cheek per se, but I could make that work. I mean, I could definitely make that work. But to me, that's worth a squeeze. That's worth a squeeze. I'm gonna put her at the end of worth a squeeze, but yeah, that's definitely worth a squeeze for me. If I could even physically do that. Fuck it, I'm gonna say that I can. All right, moving on, we got Genji. Now, Genji is another one that's a pretty nice looking ass. Where do I want to put that though? Is that better than Cass? You know what? It's better than Cass, and I want to say it's better than Echo, actually. I'm gonna put that right above Echo and worth a squeeze. That is nice. So moving on, we got Hanzo. Now, I don't know what it is, but something about the pants he's wearing in this skin, I believe this is one of his surfer skin, I think. Something about that's working for me. I like it. I think it's even better than Cass. So I'm gonna put it up at the top of yep, that's a butt. That is a nice butt, Hanzo. Moving on. Now, another thing worth noting is for some of these characters, I had to kind of fight with the hero gallery to get a good shot. Some of them had like cloaks in the way or capes, and I had to kind of like use gravity to kind of like get a good shot. But by God, this shot that I got of Alari, piece de resistance. All right, this is a mega ultra top tier ass. I am gonna put it right below Diva, I think, and worship that ass. That is very nice. Damn, I didn't know Alari was packing such cake. All right. Moving on, we have Junker Queen. You know, it's very similar to Ashe, and if this was actually her other skin that I like, but I don't actually have, it probably would go up and worship that ass. But I think for now, it's gonna go at the top of worth the squeeze. I think that's where it belongs. Just barely missing out on Worship That Ass. I believe next this is Junkrat. Let me check. Where is it? Yes, this is Junkrat. To be honest, this is even worse than Doomfist. At least there is one there, I can see it. But no, I'm just gonna say at least they got personality, because man, that ass is not doing them any favors. I'm sorry. that is a flat rectangular ass there, Junkrat. Moving on, we got Lucio. Now Lucio is a little bit caked up, but I don't know, like something about it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. It's not doing it for me. I will put them at the top. Should I put them at the top of At Least I Got Personality? Or should I do That's a Butt? You know what? I'm going to put them above Soldier 76. And yep, that's a butt. That feels about right. Next we got May. And thank God for the new strawberry skin that just came out as of the time I'm recording this. Because it gave us the best look at May's ass. I think that this is a great ass. I'm gonna put it right. Should I put it above or below Brig? Is the question. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Above or below Brig? You know what? I'm gonna put it above Brig. Put it above Brig, but below Junker Queen. Alright. Next up, we got Moira. Now, this is another one where I tried my best, but their clothes were in the way. I could not get it in a state where, you know, I could get the clothes out of the way. But at least I know that she's got some curves, as she can demonstrate here. She's got some curves to her. I'd say that's worth a squeeze. Probably above Echo, I would say. Right above Echo. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, next is Mercy. And again, with as much fan art has been done of Mercy, especially on the site of the black and orange that we don't talk about, you would think that Mercy would have this amazing ass in game. Surprisingly, it's covered up a lot. And what I can see, it's not a whole lot there. It's still nice. I can tell it's still nice. But I can't see too much of it. And you know what? I think I'm going to put it in worth a squeeze, but I'm going to put it right above Brig. Between May and Brig. That feels about right to me. Okay. Moving on, this is Pharah. And Pharah's another one where, like, the fan art that exists of Pharah is way hotter than as she appears in-game. And I was incredibly disappointed that this was the literal best shot I could get of Pharah's ass. Because Pharah herself, otherwise, super hot. But, damn, like, the game does not do her ass any justice. I'm gonna say, yep, that's a butt. I think I'm gonna put her right above Lifeweaver. I think that works for me. Yeah, that's about right. Moving on, we got, I believe that's Reaper? Is that Reaper? Is that the Reaper? That's the Reaper. Okay. Yeah, there's not a lot there, to be honest. You can barely make out some cheeks. Barely. And even then, it's like, I'm gonna put them at the top of At Least I Got Personality, because they almost have an ass. They almost have an ass. As a matter of fact, maybe that's why Reaper decided to, you know, attack the Swiss headquarters is because he was jealous that Jack Morrison has a better ass than he does. And it's as viable of a reason as any, right? Next, I believe this is Ramatra. Yes, this is Ramatra. Putting that at the bottom of the list because not only can I not get a good view of whatever is in there, I'm sure that being an Omnic, there really isn't much there to see. Unlike Echo, who is at least trying to make it work, right? She's trying to fucking have the nice curves and, like, raise her sex appeal a little bit. Like, Ramatra probably isn't even trying. So, yeah, down at the bottom of the list you go, Ramatra. I don't want to fucking have to think about your ass. Next we got Sigma, which is kind of the opposite of Farah in that I was not expecting them to have a really good ass, and yet they actually do. Sigma's ass is way better than it has any right to be. I think I'm actually going to put Sigma's ass, let's do it at the top of Yep, That's a Butt, because I don't know if I'd still want to squeeze it given what the rest of Sigma looks like, but that is definitely a nice ass. I will give you that. So moving on, we got, and this is another case similar to that, of Sojourn. I was not expecting Sojourn to have a really great ass, but by God, Sojourn is one of the most caked up characters in the entire game, and it shows. I am gonna have to say, worship that ass. I'm gonna put her right above Ashe, below Alari, but right above Ashe. That looks right. And next is Sombra. Sombra's one of my waifus, alright? I love Sombra. She's super hot. I would give anything to teleport into the world of Overwatch and just, like, throw myself at Sombra's feet and just be her #1 simp. So I'm definitely going to put up and worship that ass, because even putting my own bias aside for a second, like, come on. Look at that. I mean, you have to worship that ass. I am going to put Sombra right above Sojourn. Yes. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now we got Symmetra. And Symmetra is one of those heroes that I tried to get a good look, but the game really doesn't have any good skins for her that shows it off. This is the best shot I could get. You could tell that something's there, right? You can tell something's there. Something there that you probably want to squeeze. So I am going to put it up and worth a squeeze. I will put it... let's put it above Baptiste. After Kiriko, but above Baptiste. Yeah, I think that works. Alright. Next, we have the goat, one of the goats. I would say the goat, but there's more than one. The girl that started 1,000 forum posts with her ass in the beta. We got Tracer. And that is an ass for the fucking history books, man. Like, that is top level shit. I'm actually gonna put that up above Diva. Putting that up above Diva for sure. Like, that is fucking amazing. And I'm jealous that Emily gets it all to herself. Goddamn. Alright. Next, we have, I believe that's Venture. Yeah. Look. This is one of the worst shots that I got in the entire game. I got a literal better shot of Anna's ass than I could of Venture's, and that's saying something. I know there's one in there, but it's so close to how would I even that I'm going to put it down at the bottom. At least they got personality, right? Next is the actual fucking goat. I mean, is there any contest? Does anybody object? Does anybody object to this? Does anybody object to putting Widow at the very top? Like, that, I mean, that is perfection. That is absolute perfection. It doesn't get better than that. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I'm sure we're not gonna have any complaints about that whatsoever. Zarya is next. Now, Zarya, I'll admit, I am not a big Zarya fan. I hardly ever play Zarya. Have no interest in Zarya whatsoever. No attraction to her, but that's a nice ass. Zarya's got a nice ass. I'll have to admit. Is it worth the squeeze though? Honestly, no. Because knowing Zarya, it's gonna be hot, it's gonna be sweaty, and it's gonna be kind of gross. So I will put it at the top of yep, that's a butt. Because it almost squeaked out with a squeeze. But nah, I ain't squeezing that. Sorry. Moving on to Reinhardt. Now, this is the best shot I can get of Reinhardt's ass, and to be honest, it's all armor, which makes me believe that his ass, just much like Doomfist, is very tiny. So I am gonna put Rein right above Junkrat, but below Doom. I think that works. At least they got personality. Like, their ass is not doing them any favors. Next we got Torbjorn, which, goddamn, why are you so fucking caked up there, Torbjorn? Like, there's no reason for that, to be packing that much junk in your truck. I'm sorry. Especially being how short you are. Why do you have such a dump truck ass? But it's a butt for sure. You know, I think I'm actually gonna put it above Pharah. I'll put it above Pharah. Yeah. Damn, poor Pharah got fucking shafted this fucking this tier list right here. Like, Pharah got absolutely fucking wrecked. Next we got Roadhog. And Roadhog is kind of a similar situation to like Reaper and Doom and Junkrat, where you know, it's probably very square and very flat, and probably also very gross given some of his skins. You know, honestly, it's a matter of, do I put it above or below the Venture for me? That's tough. That's a tough decision. The fate of this tier list rests on my shoulders about, does Roadhog have a better ass than Venture? You know what? I'm gonna say they do not. I'm gonna put Roadhog down at the bottom. Venture, you barely squeaked by with that. Next is Wrecking Ball. I think we have a new contender for the worst one. Because either option is just stupid. Either you have a literal ball, or you have a hamster. And I don't want either. I do not want to even think about either of those. So yeah, I think down to the bottom, I would take a fucking Ramacha before I ever took a Wrecking Ball. Next we got Winston. And Winston, I'm sorry, I have no interest in touching monkey ass whatsoever. I am gonna put Winston, where do I want to put him? I'm gonna put Winston, you know what, I'll put Winston at the bottom of At Least I Got Personality. Because at least Roadhog's a human, right? Next we got Malka, which it's kind of a very similar situation to Roadhog. Where I'm sure their ass is very square and flat. But at least the rest of Malga is pretty, right? Malga's a pretty guy. It's kind of part of their whole shtick, right? There's this like very photogenic Maui dude. I'm gonna put Malga. Where am I gonna put Malga? I'll put Malga above Doomfist, I think. After Ana, but above Doomfist. That works. And moving on, we got Orisa. And I know my past talks of OPTIX may lead you to believe that there's no chance here, but you know what? Much like Echo, Orisa's got some curves. However, she's not quite popping it like Echo is. So I'm going to say, yep, that's a butt. And I will put that at the bottom of yep, that's a butt. Because it's just barely a butt. You know what I mean? You could do some modifications to that, make it something that you could tap, but like, I don't know. It's barely squeaking by. Finally, we have the most recent hero, Juno. And I'll admit, when I got this picture of Juno, which I had to actually go on Google Images to get this one, I didn't actually get a picture of Juno when her test came onto the game. I didn't expect to be doing this unhinged list at that time, but god damn, I am thoroughly impressed. That is going to go up in worship. Oh god, do I put it above or below Sombra? Ooh, that's I'm gonna have to put it above Sombra. I'm gonna have to. That hurts. That hurts, but it feels right. So, this is what we got so far. I might rearrange some stuff here before we finalize this. So, down here at the bottom, I ain't touching how would I even, because those are just, like, shit tier. At least I got personality. You know, I can't go by what I'm expecting their ass to look like. I can't. I have to go by what it is in game. And if that's the case, then I have to put Ana down at the bottom. Because you can't see anything. And you know what? I'm going to put Venture down below Ana, because at least with Ana you can kind of get a peek in there a little bit. Like Venture, you can't even see shit. So that's how that's gonna go. I think the rest of this tracks. Maybe put Ryan a little bit lower too. Actually, no. I'm going to keep Ryan where he is, because I like Ryan more than Junkrat. Well, actually, if I'm going by what it actually looks like, then I might have to... You know, it's my list. I'm going to keep it where it is. That's fine. Moving on to yep, that's a butt. Was I too unfair to Farah? That's the question I'm posing. Because you know what? She might not have the most full-formed ass, but I still kind of like it. I think I'm going to move Farah up to right below Zarya. Yeah, I think that's good. Sigma is fine. The rest of this... You know what? Actually, I'm going to move Arisa up. I'm moving Arisa up more, too. Let's move Arisa up above Hanzo. Yeah. Yeah, that works. I like that. I'm down for that. I'm looking at this. You know... Kiriko. Your ass is a bit too flat, darling. I think I might... I'm gonna move Kiriko down just a little. I'm gonna move her right below Sim. And... I might... You know what? I'm gonna move Moira up above Baptiste. Yeah. That looks right. What about Mercy? Is Mercy good? You know what? I think Mercy is actually better than Junker Queen. Not gonna lie. As a matter of fact, I think that I'm realizing now that Junker Queen, like, is not as good as I thought she was. I'm gonna move Junker Queen down below Sim, but above Kiri. Is that good? Am I happy with that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. What about Worship? Top tier. Okay. Well, first off, Alari is hotter than I thought. Way hotter. I'm gonna actually dare to move Alari. Do I want to move her up above Tracer? No. It's slightly flatter than Tracer. Slightly. What about Juno? I have to get gamer mode for this one. You know what? I think Juno might be better than Diva. What about Sombra? Is Sombra better than Diva? You know what? I dare to say that I think Sombra is better than Diva because Diva's is a little smaller. I'm gonna move Sombra up above Diva. But I think this feels right. I think this feels right. I think we are done. So from the bottom, we have, and how would I even? Wrecking Ball, Ramatra, and Bastion. Completely unfuckable characters. Moving on to, at least I got personality. We have Venture, Ana, Winston, Roadhog, Junkrat, Reinhardt, Doomfist, Mauga, Zenyatta, and Reaper. Then moving on to, yep, that's a butt. We have Soldier 76, Lucio, Lifeweaver, Torbjorn, Cassidy, Hanzo, Orisa, Sigma, Pharah, and Zarya. Then moving on to Worth a Squeeze, we have Echo, Genji, Baptiste, Moira, Kiriko, Junker Queen, Symmetra, Brigitte, Mei, and Mercy. And then finally, at Worship That Ass, we have Ashe, Sojourn, Diva, Sombra, Juno, Olari, Tracer, and the GOAT, Widowmaker. But that is my list. I'm actually gonna download this if I can. Download image. There we go. If it loads. Can I get it? Please. I don't know if it's working. Is it working? Hello? Download. There it is. Okay. Download. There it is. Alright. That's my tier list. Let me know what your guys' tier list is down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this stupid little tongue-in-cheek video of me ranking every ass in Overwatch. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'm Passion, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Yeah. Turn me on a pop-up on the screen, let you know about it. Get up and say hello to me, you will live without it. Empty flash of days.